Hello everyone, this is Mr. Ben175 and I am about to do my very first talk. Now, I've been gone for the past 2 days and if you're in Britain you might know why. Because the Brit Awards have been around recently. If you're not familiar with them, it's basically an awards ceremony where all the best musicians and songwriting artists and all that around Britain all gather in one big arena. And they all collect awards. I sort of said it there, haven't I? They all collect awards, all voted by the public and by the record companies. Now, I must admit, it was an interesting experience because a few things happened. I mean, when I go to the Brits, I really look forward to A, seeing who's actually going to win, and B, who's performing, who's going to be the main highlight, who's the one to really look forward to. Well, for me, it had to have been Coldplay. The way they started, trust me, if you were there, they had this round, lit up, illuminating bally thingy, and it was spectacular. I reckon their performance was brilliant. It was one of the best highlight opening ones I think they've done. And I know they've always been part of the Brits, but this one was better than all the others. Another interesting highlight, which everyone questioned about, was Adele's second talk got completely cut off about halfway through, and half the crowd was booing. And everyone took this seriously, and the whole stadium just changed. If you were there, it was just bizarre. The whole crowd just went nuts in a rather not good kind of way because we booed. And I must admit, I booed too. And, well, just imagine, you win an award, you spend years singing your way through it, and then you get to make this spectacular speech in front of millions of people from the whole country, and then all of a sudden, I'm sorry, you can't do this talk. You've got to go and press on. How annoyed would you be? So I think that she did very well not to do the middle finger sign. She did very well. But she did do the middle finger sign. But she still did that. Because I reckon the performance was brilliant. She's not my highlight, but she was definitely, by the crowd, worth seeing. She did Rolling in the Deep. Now, it's a bit of a weird choice really, because yeah, it was popular. But I'm surprised she didn't do Set Fire to the Rain, because that way the studio could have literally just gone up. Wouldn't that be good? I'm surprised she didn't do that, but she chose to do Rolling in the Deep, one of her first earlier songs before Someone Like You, which came out a few years ago now, but she definitely performed it for Brits, and that was actually made into a music video. And I have to say, that one was not as good. It was good, but it wasn't as good. And that's why it probably wasn't a highlight. Blur, I knew they'd be back in for the war, but I never thought they'd actually perform. They performed Parklife, I reckon, and a couple of others. And I must admit, it looked pretty cool. It took me back to the times when they were actually performing anyway, at the time. And it was just brilliant. They sounded the same, but they looked so different. But that was the best ending. But the only thing that caused it to ruin a little bit was Adele's cut-off line. Oh god, that was a really, really bad move for the producers, but oh well. But the atmosphere outside was brilliant. The celebrities all coming in through the red carpet down the tent. It was kind of a bit surreal, because it was like a thin bit of cardboard between you and them quite often. And the number of limos I saw waiting around the back was beyond counting, as I say, about good bit of tables. And it's a lot harder to play spot the celeb than you ever thought it was. So if you ever think of doing that, it's harder than you think. Because you definitely tell you what. You definitely tell where they are, and it's really good once you know where they are, but you don't know where they are, not at the beginning, You don't find out until about an hour into it, and that's nearly too late. So it's interesting. So if you ever get the chance to go there, I would really recommend it. It's not just for the awards, it's for the music. And that's the thing that gets the headlines, and that's what's been the headlines recently. I just wanna say, what was your highlight? Because mine was definitely Coldplay. I've always wanted to see Coldplay perform live. It's a bit of a shame they didn't do the wristbands because they've done them in tours. But it was spectacular. Spectacular so, I'd say. Yeah, what was your highlight? Because it's different viewing on the TV, and trust me, you look like you're in a bit of a garage. It's a bit of a weird way to explain in the O2 Arena, but it does sound like I was in a garage with a square in the middle, and sleds around some little circles, dotted all over the place. That's basically what it was. And on TV, it looks like some spectacular music heaven area that lasts for 2 hours that you get live action through. Yeah, it's different views. So what was your highlight? Because it's interesting to know who you actually expected to come up on Brits and who you were surprised that didn't. For instance, I was surprised people like The Wanted and Jessie J didn't win anything, despite them being in the charts a lot. They did win Diddley Squad. What do you think of that? That's something to tease you on. And to end my little talk about thingy, I have a riddle. You can call it the extremely really random, non-pointless riddle thingy to end the talking show thing. So here we go. We've got a man walked home after being out drinking. He walked down the middle of a deserted country road. There were no street lights to illuminate the road, and there was no moonlight. He was dressed all in black. Suddenly, a car that did not have its headlights on came racing down the road. At the last moment, the driver of the car saw the man and swerved off the road to avoid him. So, how did he manage to see? Something for you to think about. The answer is usually more obvious than you think with riddles, so just think about that as well. And also, if you want to do it, share your experience because it's something really worth doing, just like me. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So just consider that, and how did that man just get seen? No moonlight, no illumination of street lights, it went pure black, and you got missed. How? Think about that.